قصدي محبكسلي وشوتي هزيم زبطي لم قصدي محبكسلي وكوتي هزيم زبطي لم قصدي محبكسلي وكوتي هزيم زبطي. I thought to talk about pilgrimage from the two highest points of the property here. One could call things black pilgrimage because of the black alchemy involved. It is a nullifying our stepping aside from the past, our regular life. It combines all the colors of magic. It is the working with different intentions in a place than perhaps maybe people want one to have. And of course, different beliefs, right? Of the most common formats of pilgrimage, we have, you do something different with clothing. Like again, representing the colors are the planetary spheres. You can have yellow, white, red, purple or orange, blue, green, and black. Or there could be some particular rule about what clothing is preferred or not allowed, or whatever that you do. Making and breaking taboos is a lot of what a pilgrimage is going to be about, right? And then there's such things as we already did, a going between. So another thing we can do here is we can walk around. There's different meaning of going clockwise and counterclockwise. The counterclockwise can be seen in an invoking sort of way. Clockwise can be in an evoking sort of way. And we can look further into the whole left-hand path and right-hand path, Tantra and Yoga, not as in sides or whether you're being naughty or righteous or however you're going to put that sort of stuff. We can look at these things in a different fashion, right? We can look at it in terms of identifying and becoming, or connecting and drawing down. So in a less New Agey sort of definition, the left-hand path is sort of vampirism or energy work or whatever you want to call it. So another step would be the collecting. You might collect a particular item, just as one with the grimoires can take a long time collecting. And to make a pilgrimage where you have to change your locations, one of the things that you might end up doing is that it can take years, decades even, to save up in order to perform a pilgrimage. But on the pilgrimage itself, there tends to be some aspect of collecting or moving items that is used. And you're going to see various things from psychology represented in this. The Jungian diagram works best with the spirituality. So you have the persona, the anima animus, You have the shadow, you have the true self, and we don't need to break all that down. But ascent is one of the things. So you go up the mountain or whatever, and then there's descent. Again, that tends to be connected with the mountain. But at that point, you deal with your shadow. One of the things in Satanism, for example, is that a person gets to the point where they have no shadow. There is no shadow. Or they do the shadow work along the way, or they integrate the shadow, or whatever you want to call it. The shadow is brought out. And at this point where you deal with that, that is the time of sacrifice. And one of the things that's good to do with sacrifice is to, maybe wait to cut your hair or trim your nails or pick anything else that's not necessary for your, survival or health or whatever for a week or two or the duration of the pilgrimage. And when you make your sacrifice or your votive offering, then you can trim all that stuff. And you want to be in a different state. Some people, don't comb their hair and have other, restrictions. And then the special clothes or whatever special that you carried with you in terms of the pilgrimage, then, you drop off those terms. Now, another way that people more scholastically that either aren't going on things too old or are going on things, whatever, they tend to look at things as faith, penance, community, sacred space or time, ritual, and in a lot of traditions or whatever, this is more open. And then there's the votive offering, and then there's a celebration and a further commitment. Because pilgrimages are supposed to change you. Maybe you're doing it to atone for something, or you're going to say, I haven't been enough, or whatever. It's to propel you forward in your spiritual path. And so you need to internalize what you have externalized in terms of your pilgrimage. And pilgrimage can also be thought of in terms of going from the local to the national, to the international, to the galactic. Some people will establish a connexion. They'll put something in something or take something out. And there are various myths that you can enact, whether official or otherwise. Or you could, just like any other ritual, take things, the long-term ones, take a sense of that into another practice. So if there's any other history or whatever that you want to connect to on the way home from your pilgrimage, that's perfectly fine too. And we need to distinguish between what's a danger or a taboo and what is stupidity and what's really limiting yourself. Because, we're not talking about a senseless rebellion here. This is not what we're to do. Now, some people, when it comes to their idea of pilgrimage, they will go to the places that the mainstream religions or individual gurus or whatever have said it's not right to go to these places, or it's at least something to avoid, right? And when it comes to stupidity, you don't just show up to every other crime site or something like that to the point where the police are going to start suspecting you. You can have an idea that oh, this is where such and such died, or this is where such and such occurred, or whatever, and use that. But, you know, use a sense of common sense with that. And I was going to say something else, but I don't quite remember that. And no, I do not do any drugs. I mean, I have shown drug plants in some of my videos, but I mean, some of those things are just plain poison. They're not, they don't even do anything for you. But no, I am not using drugs here. But one of the things about these practices and their reference is that they produce states. And there's something that you can connect mythologies to. You know, some people are going to connect the 21 main paths and the 2 others of the dark gods of the Order of 9 Angles. Some people are going to use other mythologies from various other cultures, other ideas of psychology. But it's making things very physical. It's bringing all the things at once. Oh yeah, I shake because I have some issues with pains from time to time. Well, daily, but yeah, you know. But I've never been accused of having any sort of diagnosis that's related to illusion or delusion. There were some beliefs I was raised with, you know, that I now take issue with, but Lum qasas tiba bahabixli wo kilti haziram zipti. Lum qasas tiba bahabixli wo kilti haziram zipti. Lum qasas tiba bahabixli wo kilti haziram zipti.